Hello, ma'am. It's pleasure meeting you. You have always been an inspiration, and thank you so much, VDC, to give me the platform to ask you a question, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to ask the reforms that you brought at the Har jail received worldwide acclaim and also resulted you winning the Raman Award and most momentous task. It was a very difficult task. So, how did you carry it out, ma'am?
Started it from day one. For me also it was a startup.
Right.
I had no experience about this, but I had the will, I had the intention, and I had the goal, and I had the purpose, I had the passion, I had the why of my posting. Why am I here at the prison? And the why was to reform them, to change them, to change the mindset, to change the environment in which, and the goal was not profit, financial, but the goal was so that they don't come back. See, the why was clear and the goal was clear. In between, I had my resources. I had no budget, but that didn't matter. I had people, I had resources. So I started from day one, walking the prison, understanding the problem, examining it regularly, put in feedback systems, confidential feedback systems, correcting as I went along, bringing networks like those people who had publishers. Perfect case for success is you're willing to make all the sacrifices. My career of policing has demanded the maximum out of me. I made my sacrifices and I never said it's a sacrifice. I kept saying it's a choice because I'm carrying my passion. So I'm following my passion, which is because something I love. So A is you fail if you're not ready to make sacrifices. You succeed if you're prepared to make your finances, knowing your market, knowing your finances, knowing your passion. But again, it's about sacrifices. Then finding important. Oh, you decided to go it alone. मुझे कोई ज़रूरत नहीं किसी आदमी की. You never had a mentor. You never found a mentor. And you never found somebody to guide you. And it's like why don't you have somebody who's borrow others' experience rather than make your own mistakes? So it's like one life is too short to make all the mistakes. So learn from others' mistakes and grow up faster. That's like riding another's shoulder. It's like a good teacher, a good mentor. It's very, very important that you did not find a mentor. That's very, very important. You fail because you never found a mentor. You thought you didn't need a mentor. There are mentors now, mentors available. So there are consultancy firms. Well, they will charge. But if you have a mentor, your father, a man to succeed are required by a woman to succeed. Because you're in the business of entrepreneurship. You want to create something. You want to create a product, right? How will you create a product unless you know what you want and you like the product, you assess the product? How is it different? The only thing is, yes, sometimes it's easier for men to access credits than women can be. So we need some schemes in the government or the banks becoming more female friendly, right? So I would say the only thing is your access to credit and maybe a better mentorship so that you gain an experience because you may be first learners, right? So that's the only difference. And third thing, very important is that Krishika is that remember, you will still come back and manage a home. So when you do this entrepreneurship, how do you plan your personal life and your professional life? Because when a man marries, he has a manager at home. But when a woman marries, she has a manager to be managed at home and manage the home, right? So she is taking over twice. A, she's leaving a manager behind who needs to be managed and who's looking up to you to be managed because the mindset is not changing. And secondly is that you are also taking over his family to be managed. Maybe seniors, parents to be managed. Thank the VIT for giving me a wonderful opportunity to be a part of your e-summit. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh Dhake and your team for inviting me to a very prestigious panel. And of course, on a very vital subject of entrepreneurship. Because you are the engine drivers and the future unicorns of this country. You asked me, you straight away before we began, is that you have a few set of questions for me. I'll address them as we go along. But there's an opening statement where you asked me, why don't we talk about why do we fail? when do we fail as entrepreneurs? Because very high percentage, as it said, fails. It's sad to hear that, but I've been reading the statistics all the time that so many people fail. I wish this wasn't true, but the fact is it is. So I'm looking at some of the questions. When does a person fail? Why does he fail? And I have these answers which set me thinking, and that's how I'm tuning my thinking accordingly.